Well, the media thinks they have Donald Trump. The problem I have is America has elections. Now, Donald Trump won the election fair and square. Had Anthony Weiner not been caught sexting a 16-year-old from a laptop with 100,000 Hillary emails on it 2 weeks before the election, she may have been president. But he was sexting a 16-year-old, and she lost. She's framing Russia, restarting the Cold War, and risking World War III because she is immoral and bitter. Now, the Democrats, I think, are making a massive mistake. The polls that said Clinton was going to win by 12 say that Trump is now in trouble. I think the American people, particularly when you explain it to them properly, believe that impeachment is not the way to deal with losing an election. There's going to be another election in 2020, and then the American people get to pick, not the Democratic Party because they won the House and they're trying to impeach and the media tries to destroy our sitting president. The Democratic Party should be telling us why America would be better if we put them back in charge. But they had 8 years and we decided to go a different direction. And the Democratic response to that is impeachment. That is not a very good look, in my opinion. It may appeal to the hardcore, angry, sore loser Democratic base, but the average working man and woman in America sees Donald Trump improving the economy, fighting for American jobs, American union jobs, hardworking American jobs, and they see the Democrats trying to impeach him. The idea that the Democrats may not be on the American workers' side is something that I think a lot of people are starting to see because we have the lowest unemployment among black people in American history, and they want to impeach Donald Trump for that. The idea that the Democrats are on black people's side and a Republican, even if it is a Republican, so what? More black people have jobs. They're getting off welfare, and they're getting more money in their pocket, and you're trying to impeach the guy. Now you have to remember that the more welfare you take, the more likely you are to be Democrat. The more people on welfare, the more votes Democrats get. So the worse off the American people are, the better off the employments are for the actual Democratic politicians. So there's an inherent incentive for the Democrats to keep more people on welfare. It's just it's better for their reelection options. Working people vote Republican. Unemployed people on welfare tend to vote Democratic. So the fact that we have record low unemployment is terrifying to Democrats. I don't say that proudly, but Donald Trump gets record low unemployment, and they're trying to impeach him. In addition, this isn't about Russia. You claimed Russia, Russia, Russia. Paul Manafort has been convicted of a 14-year-old tax evasion charge. Nothing to do with Russia. Michael Cohen, they got him on, well, they invaded lawyer-client privilege, which I would have fought to the Supreme Court. Two, they had a New York billionaire playboy who everybody knew fooled around, grabbed women by their pussies, paid a porn star and a Playboy playmate to not talk about their sexual relationship. Not surprising. If you are going to try to impeach Donald Trump, I don't think you can do it on paying a playmate or Stormy Daniels, paying them with his own money to keep quiet because, let's face it, we knew that about Donald Trump. The whole country knew he grabbed groupies by their pussy and he loved it. Now you're going to impeach him for it. It's like trying to impeach him over firing James Comey. The guy did The Apprentice. Everybody watched him for 11 seasons going, you're fired, you're fired. And you had a temper tantrum for the first person he fired. Two, when James Comey came out and cleared Hillary Clinton before the Democratic National Convention, most Democrats had a temper tantrum and said he should be fired. Then, when he came out and did the letter about Anthony Weiner sexting to a 16-year-old girl, the convicted Democratic pedophile Anthony Weiner sexting a 16-year-old girl in South Carolina, they called for him to be fired again. So, most Democrats have called for James Comey to be fired on two separate occasions, and now they want to impeach Donald Trump for firing James Comey. These are things that are just very hypocritical on the Democratic side, and the Democrats need to stand up and blow them out of the water. Once and for all, the Russian narrative should be stood up to, and the Republicans should say, no, it was the convicted pedophile Anthony Weiner sexting a 16-year-old girl coming out 11 days before the election on a laptop with 100,000 missing Hillary emails is what cost her the election, not Russia. That had a bigger impact on the election than Russia. And nobody wants to admit it, but if every time they say Russia, you say Weiner, they'll stop saying Russia. But you have to bring up the convicted Democratic pedophile Anthony Weiner sexting a 16-year-old girl from a laptop with hundreds of thousands of Hillary emails 11 days before the election had more of an impact than Putin. Every time they say Russia, you say Weiner. That would stop the Russia allegation. And Donald Trump, if you're listening, I support you. I want to help you. Anything I can do. To the Republicans out there, understand something. This is an attempt to make us subhumans. Calling us racist, bigots, and homophobes is an attempt to dehumanize us. This is a clear attempt to take away our right to vote. We voted for him. He gets 4 years. We get 4 years with Donald Trump. You do not get to take that away from us. We are American citizens, and we have a right to vote. You are disenfranchising 63 million American voters, and you need to be stopped. All 63 million people who voted for Donald Trump need to come out and defend him, because this is an attempt to disenfranchise the 63 million people who voted for Donald Trump. This is voter suppression. This is an attempt to dehumanize Republicans like Hitler took away Jews' right to vote. Democrats are taking away Republicans' right to vote. We need to stand up. I'm Tim. You're listening to Tim's TV. And coming soon is my President Trump podcast.